Today on the DML News podcast, we've got some information for you if you haven't heard it already. Joe Biden says Hunter's not going to jail, gives him the big pardon. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about Kash Patel as the head of the FBI. It's going to be a good show, and it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch once again, and across from me is my son Denny, and on the controls is my son Ryan. We come to you every single day, proudly, as American citizens who voted for Donald J. Trump, because we can no longer take it. Like so many other people in the United States, we have grown very tired of paying too much money for things that we shouldn't have to pay too much money for. We're tired of watching open borders, and we're also tired of being lied to by everybody in Washington, D.C., and the junkies who write articles about them, the TV stations that protect them, that cover over their lies. What am I talking about? There's no better example than what just took place yesterday. No better example about how it is that you are currently lied to, I'm currently lied to, and we're damn it sick of it. We're sick of it. On this program, long time ago, back when Joe Biden was still the guy running for president, I had told you that Joe Biden would absolutely 100% pardon his son. I said he'll wait until after the election. If he loses the election, he'll do it obviously before the inauguration. But make no doubt about it, Joe Biden will absolutely 100% pardon his son. And what we watched was a bunch of posturing where one thing got delayed and then another thing got delayed. And if you don't think that was manipulated from behind the scenes, you are living under a rock. And as we knew it, the Democrats lost. Only it wasn't Joe Biden. It was Kamala Harris who lost. So it was just a matter of time how Hunter was going to get off. Whether it was Joe giving the pardon or trusting Kamala if she would have won the election, Hunter Biden was getting off. But a funny thing happened. Joe Biden went back on his word. And the press today looked like a bunch of lying, stupid, clueless idiots who drank the Biden Kool-Aid, who drank the Obama Kool-Aid, and had no problem looking you in the face and telling you that Joe Biden was not going to give his son a pass because Joe Biden believes in the rule of law. And if you said something to the different, you're just another Trump idiot. I want to remind you for 60 seconds here on what it looked like months ago when the press played cover for Joe Biden and told you there was no way Hunter Biden was getting off for his tax evasion or for his gun charges. There's no way he was getting off because Joe Biden was a man of honor, unlike Donald J. Trump. Play the video.
The presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process, and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, what
again, it's all about the contrast.
That clip actually went on for 9 minutes. We cut it down to 1 minute. Joe Biden yesterday decided that it was the time. December 1st. He put out a pardon for his son. That pardon covers going back to 2014. 10 years. It's covering for 10 years. What does Joe Biden know that he's covering up for Hunter to have such a large, sweeping pardon made? You know, we were told by the press, we were told by Joe Biden that when he was coming into office, his objective was to get things right, that the reasonable, common sense people were taking back over Washington, D.C. The grown-ups were back in the House. We were told that Joe Biden was going to be the guy that brings back unity and brings back the Department of Justice and brings back the rule of law because Donald J. Trump had destroyed it all. I don't remember ever seeing it destroyed. I don't remember Donald J. Trump ever going after his political opponents, but we'll get to that in a moment. What I do remember is Donald J. Trump losing an election that was done via voodoo. And he pushed back and said, there is dishonesty here. They are lying. They stole this from me. The Democrats always lie. They lie to you about everything. And the media just kept on covering up, telling you to wear a mask, telling you to get the jab, lying to you left and right. And then when the people of the media actually started to question whether or not there could be a possibility that Joe Biden would give his son a pardon, well, they took the question to the top. They asked the press secretary straight up, countless times, not just on one day, many different times, will Joe Biden pardon his son? And the press secretary, Mrs. LGBTQ LMNOP champion, who has the hairstyle of Raggedy Ann, said straight out, not a chance, and almost got pissed off when it was asked to her again. I've answered this already. You don't want to take my word for it? We have the clip for you. Play it, Ryan.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. We go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
So I know what you're saying. Come on, DML. That woman can barely put together a sentence. And you know she's not a very smart person. Maybe she was just confused. And it really is the press secretary the top. Shouldn't we really go to the top? Well, we tried going to the top, but Joe was sleeping. So we took the next best available option and we went to Jill. And we said, Dr. Jill, even though you're really not a doctor, will it be that Hunter Biden gets a pardon? And she unequivocally told us no. Joe Biden and Jill Biden believe in the rule of law. Don't believe me? We've got that clip too.
Your husband, the president, has said he wouldn't pardon your son. He wouldn't commute his sentence.
That's correct.
As a mother, though, you must want to see this burden lifted off your son. Do you wish you could do that?
Well, Joe and I both respect the judicial system, and that's the bottom line.
All right. I know what you're saying. DML, come on. You even said it yourself. She lies. She calls herself a doctor, and she's really not a doctor. Ugh. I guess I got to go to the real top. I guess I got to go to Joe Biden, the guy who has spent his whole life as a champion for the American people. His whole life served in the U.S. government. Now, could it be because he couldn't get a job somewhere else? Or could it be that he just wanted to serve you and me and the Democrats and the Republicans and the whole world? He wanted to serve us. He wanted to be a champion of democracy. He wanted to be a champion for this republic. Joe Biden was the guy. Barack Obama saw it in him. Joe Biden was the guy, the only guy to ever beat Trump, the guy who actually was the first person to ever get over 80 million votes in an election. Okay, whatever you tell me. What about if we just get it from him, damn it? We know we can believe Joe Biden. He's never lied about anything. He's never had his son get a job with Burisma. Oh, wait a second. No, he did. Why don't we just ask Joe Biden? Joe, are you or are you not going to pardon your son? Yes or no?
With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Well, everybody in the world told us that it wasn't going to happen. And yet yesterday, Joe Biden decided that his son was a victim, that his son was unfairly targeted because there are other people who get hit up on gun charges and they don't face federal problems. They don't face federal prison. And there's plenty of people who don't pay their taxes because they use drugs and they wind up getting a pass and they can pay it off over a course of time and they don't have to go to prison. He was a target, Hunter Biden. He was the victim of lawfare, Hunter Biden. I don't know about you, but I always knew the pardon was coming. I always knew it was coming. And so did the majority of America. So that's why you're not surprised today. You're not even probably disappointed because your expectations were set so low. What you are excited for is that we are a month and a half away from launching what will be the greatest 4 years in American history. I'm dating back all the way back from when it is that Americans found their mojo and said, let's go to the West. Let's go to the West and see if we could find the gold. That mojo that got American spirits rised and we went out and we conquered and we did things that people never imagined could be done because the American spirit was so strong. That's what's coming back on January 20. Thank goodness. You know, Donald J. Trump was asked once about what he thought about Hunter Biden and his drugs and being convicted of crimes, what have you. And Trump, like the gentleman he is, answered it in a way that the media would never expect, because the media tells you that Trump is out to get everyone. He's out to get his political opponents. He's going to take the military to the streets. He's going to arrest him. He's going to throw him in jail. He's going to throw away the key. He's going to starve him. He's going to burn him alive at the stake. That's who Donald Trump is, according to the media. However, whenever he's asked questions about this stuff, Donald Trump gives a completely different answer. And he really doesn't focus a whole lot on that kind of stuff. He'll go back to the important things like China and Russia and Iran and North Korea. You don't believe me? How about we ask Donald Trump himself? Let's ask the question. What do you think about Hunter Biden being pardoned by his son? This was asked going back a little while ago.
You mean his father?
What did I say?
His son. Hunter Biden being pardoned by his father.
By his father?
Yes, sir.
I'm starting to get confused. Play it.
Would you consider granting clemency or a pardon?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. You know, with Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be I think it would have been horrible for our country and we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get. I thought it was so bad to take her and put her in jail, the wife of a president of the United States. And then when it's my turn, nobody thinks that way. I thought it was a very terrible thing. And she did a lot of very bad things. I'll tell you what, she was pretty evil. But in terms of the country and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail. And I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she did. I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party, because we're a party of common sense. And I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low taxes. I want to have strong borders. I want to have a strong military so that China and Russia, look, they've allowed China and Russia to do the impossible combined. They're natural enemies. They always have been, because China needs more land and Russia has it. They've always been natural enemies. And because of Obama, it started with him, and then Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, they've now become one force. And then now they're adding Iran to it, and they're adding North Korea to it. Pretty powerful force. This is something that is unthinkable that they allowed to happen.
I never want to hear again about how it is that Joe Biden is such a great ambassador for the United States. I never want to hear the left tell me again how bad and horrible Donald J. Trump is, and he's a liar, and he's going to protect his family, and everybody else is just garbage.
I also never want to hear again that no one is above the law. You know, I mean, there's been plenty of compilations, video compilations since this news broke out of just Democrats, politicians, the news media pundits, everyone, you know, from years past about how, you know, Trump would be the dictator. He would, you know, bend the law to his will. And yet here you have a man who has continuously said, I have no intentions to pardon Hunter. And he does it right after he pardons the 2 turkeys this weekend. So, you know, for me and you and anyone listening, this is no surprise whatsoever. It was just a matter of when. I think today, if you're a Democrat, you're either falling on 2 sides. Either you have finally finished the complete disillusionment of, oh my God, I've been vouching for this man, and between, you know, him going senile, them doing what they did with Kamala, this and that, and now he goes back on his word. And then you have some Democrats who, you know, blew no matter who, and they're defending it, saying, like, you know, it's a father to son bond. He's doing what any father would do, yada, yada, which I get that. I would almost give more respect and credit to Biden if from the get-go he was like, hey, maybe I will pardon him. You know, he's blood. At least you could say, hey, at least he's saying the truth here. But I think this is kind of a cap on Biden's legacy, is that he, throughout his career, has just lied and lied and lied and gone back on things. I mean, even there was a video of him as a senator back in the 90s saying, you smoke crack cocaine, go to jail for 5 years, like, you know, definitively. And it's juxtaposed with, you know, Hunter Biden smoking crack cocaine. Like, he doesn't follow on anything he does. So this is no surprise here. But I definitely do not want to hear a Democrat ever utter again, nobody is above the law. In fact, Biden's tweet on that just got community noted this morning. From like 2 years back when he wrote that, saying, clearly that's not the case since you just pardoned your son.
You know, look, truth be told, if you and Ryan, you or Ryan, maybe both of you, if I was running for president and I saw that they started targeting you, and there's no doubt, I mean, look, Hunter Biden is a bad dude, man. Drug addict, as far as I'm concerned. He defrauded the United States of America.
Deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad. I mean, just not a good person. And I say this with pause because on his surface, if his last name wasn't Biden and his last name was, let's just say, Jones or Smith, this guy would be in jail for multiple different reasons. And there would be a lot of people calling for his head, meaning treason. So he's getting away with it because he's a Biden, and then the Bidens can say, you're targeting my son for political reasons. They are actually the ones who do the targeting. Look what they've done to Trump. And yet, you know, they always try to twist it. They play these head games. It's the same thing as racism. I mean, every time you look back and they call the Republicans racist, it's the Democrats who are the ones who wanted to keep slavery going. It's the Democrats who have Planned Parenthood. They try to pretend as if they're trying to give some kind of health services to women. But ultimately, if you look at who it is that is killing the unborn more than any other demographic, it's the black population. right? So who are the real racists? And somehow they call us the racists. But truth be told, if you and Ryan were politically targeted and I was the president of the United States, I'd give you a pardon. And so I don't think there's a parent out there who doesn't understand why Joe Biden would give his kid a pardon. I mean, doesn't make it right, but we all know you protect your kid no matter what.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say, I think that's the big takeaway. Like, it's not surprising because again, it's father son, and I would, even if the roles were reversed, I would do the same thing.
Mhm.
I think it's because his administration's legacy here, a 4-year legacy, has been everything they say that is the status quo actually happens to be the opposite. I mean, they go back on everything they initially said. It's like when they do a jobs report and then 4 weeks later they recalculate the numbers, and it's lower than what it was. It just seems everything they do action wise and say, it's contrary to what actually happens.
Yeah, and then it's the amazing part here is that if you look at what it is that Biden wrote in his letter, why he stated that his son was out. I mean, he went back and really emphasized his son's addiction, and almost didn't come out and say it, but used the almost like, hey man, everybody deserves a second chance. He's 5 years clean and sober. Let's give him a break. Like a second chance, right? And I wonder how many people, including those that are still paying today for January 6th, for showing up to the Capitol,
Yeah.
not hurting anybody, not breaking anything, just having a presence there. How many of those people have had drug problems? How many of those people are maybe alcoholics? How many of those people are suffering from different afflictions simply because the government has gotten in the way and made life too hard in the United States? He'll let those people rot in prison for political reasons, but his son gets to keep on keeping on. And I think that's where people have the problem. It's not that you're protecting your son. That's human nature. It's that you are going to protect your son and crucify other people without blinking an eye.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it is, that the American people, even those on the left, I think you're going to see something really amazing happen in the next year, Dennis. I really do. It's happening a little bit already. You're watching some people on the left, and maybe it's for saving their own careers, but you're watching them ease up a bit on Trump now. They're going to visit him at Mar-a-Lago, like Mark Zuckerberg, because he doesn't want to be...
And Morning Joe.
Morning Joe. I mean, this other guy, Shank from the Young Turks, is now, talking about how Trump's not that bad. Biden's really the problem. You're seeing a lot of these people trying to come on over to the MAGA hat, or at least touching on it. You know what I mean? Chris Cuomo. I think what you're going to see is the American people who didn't vote for Trump or voted for Trump holding their nose, or didn't vote at all because they thought that Trump and Kamala Harris both sucked. I think what you're going to watch over the next year with what Trump is doing with this administration, or at least what it looks like he's doing with his coming administration, by who he's picking for roles, I think you're going to see the United States of America flourish in a way that I know you've never seen it in your lifetime. That even I don't even remember the Reagan. I remember the Reagan days, but I don't remember everything about it. I think we're about to, you asked the other day, enter a golden era where everybody benefits from what Donald Trump is trying to do. And I think one of the things he's trying to do is he's trying to destroy the system, which has gotten so out of control, which basically hampers the American dream from becoming a reality, because there is so much hatred, division, corruption, and ineptness in Washington, D.C. today. I think we're in for something that's going to be just biblical.
It's funny. I think Keith Olbermann, who's a crazy liberal, had some kind of tweet today saying that, oh, maybe Biden should just pardon all of Washington, D.C. And then the implication there was are you trying to say that everyone in Washington, D.C. would need a pardon? Or are they criminals or something? What are you trying to say there, Keith? I think the situation too, by the way, is a good indicator of how the press secretary position can either be the worst or best job in the world. I think it'd be the best if you have a kick-ass presidency and you go in there and you're fighting the, crazy leftist media reporters and getting, and everything's going peachy-peen. but Peachy Keen. But I think it's the worst if you're Karine Jean-Pierre and you like. I don't even know how she addresses this. If Pete Ducey like asks something, so it's been months of saying it's never going to happen, and now it happens. I'm telling you, she's going to have the tell-all book one day.
Of course, you've been saying it for a long time. That her tell-all book is, I didn't want to lie to you, they made me.
They made me.
Yeah. But yeah, today I would expect that she's going to say something along the lines of, truth is, we took a look at it, and Hunter Biden has been a political a victim.
Yeah.
He has been victimized. And because Donald Trump has shown in the past, and, just even from his new FBI pick, it is clear to see that he is going to be going after people unfairly. And so that's why Biden did what he did. Now, with that being said, it's a great segue. Trump has now picked Kash Patel to lead the FBI. And I mean, if you want to see the left go upside down and inside out, this is the one. Denny will tell you a little bit about Kash Patel in a second. But what we're going to do first is we're going to show you what it is that CNN and FBI guru Mr. McCabe had to say about Kash Patel being nominated as the head of the FBI by Trump just a couple of days ago. Take a listen.
Andrew, I just want to start first with you and just get your reaction to this news tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Kash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate. So I think what we should really be thinking about right now is, what does this signal in terms of Donald Trump's intent for the FBI? The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Kash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract the FBI, and to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda. And, as an organization, we know what that looks like. This country has been there before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover FBI, struck fear in the hearts of Americans across the spectrum of politicians, people in entertainment, people in the civil rights community, because the director operated at the direction of presidents to collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize and intimidate Americans. So the question is that where we're going back to with this nomination? I would argue that Kash Patel would be the perfect person for Donald Trump to nominate if that's in fact his intent for the FBI.
McCabe has some set of balls, man. First of all, we can sit here and go back to James Comey and list how many times the FBI has done something that is so un-American and discredit. You could just discredit them as an agency. And this guy is going to sit there and say that Kash Patel and Donald J. Trump is going to basically destroy the FBI. I think what Donald Trump is looking to do, especially seeing that he has been the victim of the FBI, he has been victim of these other agencies. I don't think that Donald Trump believes that they all need to be dismantled. That's the left trying to tell you that the asteroid's coming and the world's going to blow up. I think what Trump is saying is these are decent agencies that are filled with a lot of decent people, but there's just a certain amount of people in there that are making everything bad, and we've got to get rid of them. And once we get rid of them, we can wind up letting these agencies go back to what it is that they're fundamentally supposed to do. The FBI is supposed to be going after organized crime, stopping things from happening in this country on a massive level, doing investigations on things that local police can't figure out. And with this whole thing with Kash Patel, the FBI has been all over X. And I can't tell you how many videos I watched yesterday of FBI agents going up and knocking on people's doors and saying, we want to talk to you about this post on social media. Really? You got to be kidding. We don't got kids kidnapped right now, kids in sex trades. We don't got people who are trying to lure kids on the internet. And this is what you're coming for? You know, I mean, have you seen some of the videos where they've taken people from January 6th out of their house? They got the machine guns pointed at their faces. They treat them like they're dirt because they went to a rally. It needs to be cleaned up. I'll just give you this one point and then hear what you have to say on this. I remember going to South Chicago. This is going back maybe 8-9 years ago. This is back when I was doing my Fox News stuff. And I think it was either Hannity or Megyn said, hey, because I couldn't be on for some reason. And I said I was going to Chicago. And they said, oh, man, if you get some footage from Chicago, let us know. I said, yeah, I'll get some footage from Chicago. So I went to South Chicago, which is really bad, where it's Inglewood, where it's like people getting killed in the middle of the day, whatever. And I remember going up to this one guy. And he said, you have to understand, this is a good town. This is a good city we're in. But it's 10% of the people causing 90% of the crime. If we could get rid of those 10% of the people, 90% of the crime is gone. And I think that's the approach Trump is taking. If we could just get rid of the 5-10% of the people that are in the IRS and the FBI and the CIA and the NSA and all the bad doers, we could get rid of them. Everybody else in those agencies are really good people and just want to carry out their jobs, and we can make America great again.
Yeah, think about a police department where you can have 100 awesome, good moral police officers, but if you have that one bad police chief that's calling the shots, like you said, it's not necessarily dismantling as much as it's a trimming of the fat in a way. Get rid of the bureaucrats who have kind of abused the system, have stayed in there, have been going through the processes of becoming established. And now with that establishment, they have that corrupted mindset that they could just go send agents to Grandma Betty's door because she was in the vicinity of the January 6th protests. So and when you see those videos, right, you either have the agent who just loves being on that power trip, or you could kind of tell in some of them, they look like, why the heck am I here right now? You know, like I'm just following orders. And if I disobey them, I lose my job and I'm shut up, So I agree. I don't think it's shutting down all these departments. I mean, Department of Education is a whole different field. But when it comes to FBI and those intelligence agencies, it's a scraping of get the ones that are really ruining it out of there.
And look, there's an old adage that says that you can't learn to win unless you learn to lose. And I think there have been a lot of things that Trump has done wrong, especially in his first 4 years. He made a lot of mistakes. He hired the wrong people. I think he went along the wrong sort of strategy. Now, 4 years of experience of being, the president of the United States, 4 years of knowing what it's like to be a political victim, political prisoner. I mean, they've held him prisoner for 4 years, right?
Yeah, there were times he couldn't leave New York. Yeah, because of his cases.
He couldn't speak freely. He wasn't allowed to post anything about Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So when you take the 4 years of his presidency and the 4 years post his presidency, that man is coming into office right now, as far as I'm concerned, as the best prepared person ever to take the presidency. We have talked about how it is that there's no job that gets you ready for the presidency except for the presidency. So he had it. They stripped him. Now he's going back. He is the most equipped, most knowledgeable, most prepared man ever to take that position. And I think what you're going to see is the left being made a fool of again. He's not going to go do things that are, horrible and criminal and Gestapo Nazi sort of bullshit. He is just going to go for his face being up on Mount Rushmore. That one slot, Trump's going to say, I want it. I know how to get it. And the way I get it is I unite this country. I bring back the rule of law. I bring back sanity. I lower the prices of everything. I lower your taxes. And I give you the opportunity to live the American dream without having to wonder whether or not some illegal alien's going to steal your job, steal your life, steal your wife, whatever it may be. I'm going to put America back into that sort of Rockwell painting of the white picket fence. And I think you're going to see people, I was saying this before, you're going to see people who are in the middle, the left, didn't vote for him, whatever. They're going to come to his side and say, this is the greatest president that we have ever had in our lifetime. Guaranteed.
Totally. And he's not making unqualified picks. He's making unconventional picks. I mean, even with Kash Patel here, he was a public defender in Miami, handling cases like murder and financial crimes, drug trafficking. He worked with Congressman Devin Nunes on a intelligence committee. Then he actually worked with Trump in his first term. He served on the National Security Council in 2019. Then he was the chief of staff to Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller. So, I mean, he has experience in the realm of being involved with intelligence agencies and organizations, but he's not a bureaucrat. So he is that kind of guy that comes in and is going to be the one to really establish reform.
You're right. In fact, and you missed one thing, credited to his name. He's the guy who basically led the charge to let us know as Americans that Russiagate was
Yes.
total BS.
Yep.
We have a video clip here of a Republican senator, his name eludes me, on NBC explaining why it is that he thinks Patel is the perfect pick for the FBI. Play it.
Okay, so I hear you saying you are a yes, and yet a lot of folks have raised questions about whether Patel is qualified. President-elect Trump floated the idea of Patel as his deputy FBI director at the end of his first term. His attorney general at the time, Bill Barr, rejected the idea, later writing this is in his memoir, quote, Patel had virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency. Senator, how seriously do you take Barr's warnings?
Listen, I think you should have the Biden administration look at itself. What is the qualification of Tony Blinken to become Secretary of State? Well, he organized 51 so-called intelligence experts to put together a fake letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. That must have qualified him to be Secretary of State. President Trump is entitled to name his appointees. That is exactly what he's doing, and I'm going to support this appointment. Kash has worked in national security. He's worked at the Department of Justice. And he's somebody that has been willing to uncover the wrongs at the FBI. He's the one that uncovered for the American public what happened with Russiagate. He's the one that can see through the fix here.
So, Senator, you are disregarding what Bill Barr, the former attorney general under Donald Trump, is saying, his warnings that he just doesn't have the experience.
I'm saying there are people that are serving in the current administration that are woefully inexperienced. I think Kash does have relevant experience, particularly when it comes to the mandate the American public has signed of turning these agencies around that have become completely corrupted. Kash has pointed it out. He's probably the best at uncovering what's happened at the FBI, and I look forward to seeing him taking it apart.
It's amazing how the left will sit there. I mean, now A.G. Barr is this godly man, right, who knows all. At the end of the day, the left is losing their power. They know it. They feel it being stolen from them. Although I should say they had it lock and key, and they're the ones who handed over the key by lying to us constantly. So if there's a message today, it's that we're tired of being lied to, and the pendulum is swinging. When, we just had Thanksgiving, and obviously we were all thankful for everything that we have. When you look forward, Dennis, I mean, we got a month and a half. What part of the Trump administration are you looking most forward to?
I'm hoping to see something I've never seen before, at least in my lifetime, which is having his DHS and ICE and every department related to immigration services rounding up, deporting the worst of the legal immigrants, and then beginning the process of getting the rest either legalized if they've been here and they're going to do it the correct way, but there needs to be some kind of penalty, or send them home. So I'm hoping to really see that become a fundamental change next year.
Ryan, what's your one big thing that you're looking forward to for the administration?
Well, the border, obviously, but like for my personal self, easement on the economy. Being able to put more money in my pocket so I can eventually put myself in position to maybe get my own place, such as Denny or Ashley. So I guess, improving the economy, making the American dream more achievable.
I can't say it's. I think both of you are targeted like most Americans. Those are the big two topics that everybody really seemed to care about. I want sovereignty for my country, and I want to economically be able to survive and thrive.
I think as a quick third, maybe this is Ashley's answer, just the government accountability. I think that has been the big takeaway besides those other two answers for the last 4 years. And hopefully the DOGE or just the administration itself gets their stuff under check. I'm tired of
DOG meaning the Department of Governmental Efficiency. By
I'm tired
Elon
of
Musk.
hearing the
Yeah.
Pentagon failed its 7th audit. Like what?
Yeah, I
You
know.
what
I hear
mean?
you.
So-
Well, there's something that Trump did that he never gets credit for. Never gets credit for. Although I give it to him all the time, and now I'm going to pass that credit on to you if you want it. Donald J. Trump signed a thing called the Farm Bill, and that Farm Bill ignited a movement in this country like nothing I had ever seen before, and that was for CBD. CBD, the drug companies hate CBD because it does things for you that are non-addictive. It does things for you that are not synthetic. All right. So it's natural. And we got into the CBD business and we have changed so many lives for the better. I couldn't even sit here and start doing it all. If we wanted to do a nonstop telethon, it would take a week long for me to read all the testimonials of how it is that our products have helped change lives. And those products would not be available if it wasn't for Donald J. Trump. So you should thank him every single day. We have, today's probably the last day we're doing it based on inventory alone. So you won't hear about this again tomorrow. So please, if you think this is something that somebody in your family or friend or coworker or over yourself, you want to get yourself a gift would like, take a listen for this for a second. We have DMLCBD.com, DMLCBD.com. You go there, you go to the buy button, you'll see it right at the top. We have what is called our little gift bag. And in that bag is DML CBD hand and foot cream, DML CBD face serum, and DML CBD Miracle Me body pain relief oil. Those 3 products right there, all topicals, face, hands, foot, body. These 3 things have helped people with pains that would be associated with arthritis, pains that are associated with muscle aches, pains that are associated with where the hell did this pain come from? Bug bites, stings, sunburns, eczema, lines being taken away, facial spots being taken away, cracks on the feet, cracks on the hands. I mean, my hands are as smooth as they get. There are no calluses. And I'm a guy who handles ropes all the time with my boat and things of that nature. None. You want to know why? Because I'm constantly going like this with this stuff and putting it on my face and my body. Typically, these 3 things right here would cost you, if you got them all together, about $220. This gift bag right here comes in the bag, in the little red bag, just $59. We're doing this for Christmas. To make it even better, DML Foundation, which is a 50C3 charity, I've made it so this way, when you buy this bag, I will also wind up making sure that you get a free bottle of face serum for yourself. So let's say you're buying this for your father or your mother for Christmas, you're going to get a face serum for yourself in that. So you're going to get all 4 of these, $272 worth of great CBD products, tested, double tested. The ingredients get tested, and then the product itself gets tested for your safety. $272 worth of amazing, can possibly change your life products for $59, because we're doing it every year. We do it at Christmas. We give back, and this is the way we're giving back. All right. DMLCBD.com. Just go to the buy button, and you'll see it right at the top, the gift pack. I don't think we have many left. Today will probably be the last day. It's Cyber Monday. Get in there and get in there now. DMLCBD.com. Go to the buy button. It's right at the top. Or I think you could also go DMLCBD.com/gift, and you could get to the same destination. That's it for us. On behalf of Denny and Ryan and all of Team DML, we thank you for being with us here today. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We hope you go to DMLCBD.com/gift and get this for you or somebody that you love. And we appreciate, as always, you following us on X at x.com/trustdml. Until the next time, God willing, will be tomorrow. You stay well. May God bless you, your family, America, and Donald J. Trump.
And today's Team DML blessing goes out to Dan Dufault.
All right, Dan, run with it. Talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.